My father left his $40 million estate to the first of his 3 children who could solve his final puzzle. Jestity, I found the solution hidden in plain sight in the bedtime stories he told only me. Dad always said life was a game of strategy. The billionaire tech founder never gave us anything without making us work for it, turning birthday presents into scavenger hunts and allowances into business proposals. I am teaching you to think, he'd say. Money without minds is worthless. When he died unexpectedly last month, none of us were surprised by the video that played at the reading of his will. Dad in his home office, explaining his final game. My entire estate will go to whichever of my children solves this puzzle first, he announced, holding up a small wooden box with intricate carvings. The solution requires the key I've given each of you over the years. Good luck. My half-year of Alexandra and James practically ran from the attorney's office. They'd always been Dad's favorites, Alexandra with her Harvard MBA and James with his startup that Dad had funded. I was just Emma, the youngest, the one who disappointed him by becoming a kindergarten teacher instead of joining the family empire. The wooden box arrived at each of our homes the next day. It had no visible keyhole, just elaborate patterns carved into each side and a small digital timer counting down from 30 days. Alexandra hired a team of cryptographers. James tried to bribe Dad's former assistant. I just sat in my tiny apartment, staring at the box, turning it over in my hands, remembering Dad while my siblings had attended elite boarding schools. I'd lived with Dad after my mother died every night until I was 12. He'd tell me bedtime stories about a magical kingdom with puzzles hidden in plain sight. The answer is always where you least expect it, little bird, he'd say, using his nickname for me. 2 weeks into the challenge, with the timer showing 16 days remaining, I was no closer to solving it. Then I found Dad's old voice recorder in a box of my childhood things, the one he'd used to record our bedtime stories for posterity. I started listening to them again, expecting nothing but nostalgia. But in the third recording, something clicked. The kingdom's treasure was protected by 5 guardians, Dad's voice narrated. Earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Each required a specific offering to pass. I looked at the box again. Leaves, clouds, flames, waves, and stars. Not just decorative carvings, they were representations of the 5 guardians. I spent the next day listening to all 23 stories, taking notes on each guardian's offering. By midnight, I had it. Earth required salt. Air required breath. Fire required wax, water required blood. With shaking hands, I placed a grain of salt on the leaf pattern, blew gently on the cloud pattern, dripped candle wax on the flame pattern, and hardest of all, forced myself to think about Dad until tears fell on the wave pattern. For spirit, I hesitated. Then I remembered Dad always said, commitment requires sacrifice. I pricked my finger and touched a drop of blood to the star pattern. The box hummed to life, the timer stopped, and a hidden compartment slid open, revealing a small USB drive and a handwritten note. For my little bird, the only one who truly listened. This morning, as my siblings arrived at the attorney's office demanding more time, I plugged in the USB drive. It contained a video of Dad, looking directly at me. Emma, he said, smiling the way he rarely did in life. If you are watching this, you remembered our stories. Your siblings always wanted my money, but you paid attention to my words. That's why you are the only one who can truly build on my legacy. The attorney slid the paperwork across the table, the entire $40 million estate transferred to my name. Alexandra threw her water glass against the wall. James threatened to contest the will. I just sat there finally understanding Dad's greatest lesson wasn't about solving puzzles. It was about recognizing what truly matters. Sometimes the most valuable inheritance isn't what's in the bank. It's the stories only you were meant to hear.